Hey guys, Waxberry here. Today we're going to be discussing the Skyward Weapon set in the game, which is called the Moonset series, which I'm kind of surprised about. But there's five of these weapons, and out of these five, two of them are much more interesting than the rest. So we're going to look at the other three first, and we'll look at the more interesting ones at the end of the video. So the ones we're going to look at first are Skyward Blade, Skyward Pride, and Skyward Spine. So all of these weapons, they were created and blessed by Venti, and they were made as a devotion to Dvalin's victory over the shadow dragon Durin, and also Dvalin's restoration after he became corrupt. So Durin, he's described as the sinner's creation. I'm not exactly sure how he was made, but he threatened to destroy Moonset. So Dvalin's victory over Durin is actually an extremely important part of the history of Moonset. So first, let's look at Skyward Pride. So the description of the blade, it just says a claymore that symbolizes the pride of Dvalin soaring through the skies. So when we look at the lore, it's describing basically Dvalin's pride for protecting the kingdom of Moonstad, and also shows that Venti summoned Dvalin when he heard the cries of the citizens of Moonstad. So he summoned Dvalin so he could fight Durin and protect them. And it describes kind of their fight, and it says that the Durin's flesh, it was like rotten flesh, which you see more descriptions. It's like almost like the flesh of a dead person was the flesh of the dragon Durin, which Dvalin was fighting. But the thing is, the Durin was a really poisonous dragon, so when Dvalin was fighting him, the blood from Durin was actually seeping into Dvalin and corrupting him. So Dvalin finally defeated Durin by tearing out his, by piercing his throat with his claws, and then Durin's body fell on Dragon Spine. So that's why when we visited Dragon Spine, there was corruption there, and then that's why Albedo made the festering desire from the corruption of Durin's body in Dragon Spine. So this is mostly the description for Skyward Pride. So Skyward Spine and Blade I don't own, but we're going to look at its description on Genshin Impact Fandom, which has the same lore as in the game. So when it comes to Skyward Spine, it describes it as a spine that holds up the sky. So you can think of the spine here being symbolic for Dvalin, and the sky is like symbolic for Moonstad, which is the land of wind. So he's like the spine that held up the city since he defeated Durin. So it just shows how unshakable his resolve was to win this battle. It gives a little bit of different details. So here it describes that Dvalin, after he pierced Durin's throat, he ripped out his heart, and then Durin fell onto Dragon Spine. But it also describes that after Dvalin became corrupt, that the citizens of Moonset forgot about his victory over Durin, and Dvalin started to become known as Storm Terror until he was saved by Venti, as we see in the game. We get to fight Dvalin, and he is able to be restored to what he was before. So that's the description of Skyward Spine, and now let's look at Skyward Blade. So Skyward Blade, this one's a little more interesting because it says the sword of a knight that symbolizes the restored honor of Dvalin. The blessing of the Nemo Archon rests on the fuller of the blade, imbuing the sword with the powers of the sky and wind. In the description, it sounds like it might have been wielded by somebody, that the blade itself might be important, but I'm not too sure about it. But it says the sky-piercing fang, it once pierced the black gold scales of the kingdom of the abyss. So I think that's talking about Dvalin's fangs, but it could be talking about the actual blade. So it's not really made clear. But yeah, again, it describes Dvalin's fight with Durin, and how Dvalin felt after he was poisoned by Durin's blood. It says that he was unable to bear the pain, and Dvalin felt unconscious. And the music of Venti, playing on his on the harp, it says that the most skilled bards weren't able to awaken Dvalin from his slumber that he went into from this poison. So this poison was extremely strong. That's why we had to fight Dvalin in the game. So that's the 3 Skyward weapons that tell the story of Dvalin, and I think the other 2 are much more interesting. So first, let's look at the Skyward Harp. So here it says a great bow that symbolizes Dvalin's affiliation with the Anemo Archon. The sound of the bow firing is music to the Anemo Archon's ears. It contains the power of the sky and the wind within. So when you look at its lore, it says the sky-piercing lyre. The cleared tunes of this lyre still echo in the hearts of the people and in the winds. It is said that the ancient evil dragon from the abyss was enticed here by its tunes. So we can see that this weapon actually seems like it has lore behind it, like it existed even back then. And it describes that how the music Barbatos would play on his lyre is what charmed Dvalin to follow him in the first place. And this is what helped begin Venti's relationship with Dvalin, because it seems weird that he has a relationship with a giant dragon, right? But the beginning of that relationship is actually the music Venti plays. So it says the flowing tunes of the lyre halted the Shadow Dragon's attack in the final battle, granting Dvalin the chance and the Shadow Dragon's poisonous rain. So when Dvalin was fighting Durin, it was actually this music that gave Dvalin the opportunity to kill Durin. So in the end of it, it gives us a hint that maybe the lyre Der Himmel, I'm not too sure how to say it, but the lyre that we steal in the game could be related to this harp. Maybe this bow itself is like the lyre made into a weapon. But yeah, this is the description of the bow, and the most interesting one to me is the Skyward Atlas. That's why I saved it for last. So this is a cloud atlas symbolizing Dvalin and his former master. The Anemo Archon. It details the winds and clouds of the northern regions and contains the powers of the sky and wind. So in the lore, as you guys know in the game, it says that just like just like Dragon Spine is covered in snow, it says Moonstadt actually used to be covered in snow like that. But in the stories, it says that Venti, with his power, he cleansed the land of all the snow that covered it, and then it became the Moonstadt that we know in the game now. But here it gives more details, showing that the actual thing Venti used to get rid of all the snow that covered the land of Moonstadt was actually this book, the Cloud Atlas. So it says a copy of the atlas pertaining to the weather of the northern regions, presented in the form of poems and images. It consists of 100,000 odes, each dedicated to a single cloud or wind and calling it by name. So gives a little bit more details here. It says, legends tell that in ancient times Barbatos summoned the 4 winds with the original version. He thought the snow drove away vicious beasts, summoned rainfall, and created Moonstadt. He permitted the atlas to be shared and copied among the people, giving it the name of Cloud Atlas. So we can see that this is basically a copy of the original atlas that Venti wielded, which he used to, cleanse the land of Moonstadt, but also even to fight enemies that threaten them. So even though it's a copy, and even it says like not all the knowledge is passed down completely, again, the power of the book is more in what's written in it, not the book itself. So even though some of the things were lost, a lot of what was in the original Cloud Atlas is also in the copy. So you can think of this book like the same book Venti used to make Moonstadt the beautiful land it is now. So yeah, these are the descriptions of the Skyward weapons. I think it's really cool, and I like the lore behind the harp and atlas because it feels like they're really worthy of being 5-star weapons, right? They're legendary items. The Blade, Pride, and Spine, they look really cool. I mean, it's cool because they tell the story of Dvalin's fight, and I think that Dragon's going to become a lot more important later in the story because he's also mentioned in the manga as well. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. So the next video is going to be about the Royal Weapon Series, and I'll be releasing that in a few days. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any suggestions or any other specific weapons you want to see, just leave it in the comments. And yeah, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. And thank you so much again for watching. Have a great day.